here. So we're going to go ahead and kick this off. For those of you that don't know me and it's your first time on the call, my name is Tim Cook with the West DFW REI Group. We are the most Western group in DFW that I know of. I don't know of any others west of us till you get clear out Abilene and places like that. So there is a ton of them north and south and east of us, but we are the furthest west. So it's kind of nice for those that live in the Fort Worth area or Parker County, that area. So this meeting is a little bit smaller than most of our meetings. It's usually, so the background on this, it's called the Real Estate Investor Lunch, Learn, and Connect. It was originally a lunchtime meeting where we shook hands, build relationships, and just kind of had lunch together. We'd move restaurants, different parts of the Metroplex each month. And shortly after we got started with it, we had COVID hit. So rather than cut the meeting off altogether, we decided to keep it going virtually, and that's what we've done here so far. The good news is, next month, we're planning our first in-person meeting on 7 August. And I hope you will all come join us. We look forward to seeing faces again. We will be required, the building we're going to be in requires people to wear a mask. So we'll still have to do that, and we'll take precautions. I'm going to find out just what that rule is. I mean, there is a sign on the door. We wore masks with them when we went and met them, but I'm going to find out if once we get in our room, which is a very large room, if we have people spread out, are they okay with, taking the mask off? And of course, it'll be up to the individuals if they want to do that. But it's a nice place. Hopefully you'll come join us. If you are coming, please register right away so that we know, because this is a new facility, we have to order tables and chairs, and we're trying to get it set up where we have breakfast for everybody. So we need to know who's coming. So please, if you're coming, please go ahead and register today, if you don't mind, so that we know. All the details are on the calendar event for 7 August. And there's a location, a map, and all the other details there. It's really simple, right off I-30 and Beach Street. So it's a very easy place to find, and hopefully we'll have a very good meeting. I know a lot of people are looking forward to meeting in person again. Still have some limitations, but at least we'll be able to meet in person again. It's going to be a great event. We're going to be talking about, we have a guest speaker coming in. It's actually the gentleman that wrote the software for this REI Group software, the investor group webpage. He also is the one that wrote the software for all of your websites. For those of you that are paid members, you get a free site, a free website included with your membership. And that free site is a very powerful investor website. And he's going to be teaching us all about the tools. When you upgrade to the premium version, he's going to teach you about all the tools: the deal analysis tool, the repair estimation tool, the seller's net sheet, the offer generator, and the letter of intent generator. So the system is very automated, and it's designed to help you quickly analyze and provide an offer to the seller. So it's going to be a good event. I hope you will come see that event. Welcome, Ruth Ann. And we were just talking about the 7 August live in-person event, Ruth Ann. So that's really the only thing you missed there.
Great. I'm so excited. We're getting back together.
Yeah, no joke. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead, and this is really an open mic thing. We try and as long as you don't have dogs or kids screaming in the background, you can unmute yourself so we can try and have a a normal conversation. But we'd like to go through and do a quick introduction of everybody to say who you are, what you're doing, and how we can help you, or how you can help anybody else. And then again, part of my goal is to always be networking with everybody. So you're welcome. Since we can't shake hands and exchange business cards, we can put our information in the chat box. So after you introduce yourself, please go ahead and go to the chat, put your name, email, phone number, and what you're doing, what you need help with, what you're offering, and so forth, what you're buying. If you're an active buyer, then put the details of what you're looking for in the chat so everybody can benefit from that. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and start with John Beeman and let you introduce yourself, John, and go for it. Just, 1 to 2 minutes. That's all.
Got you. Hi, everyone. My name is John Beeman. I have my real estate license. I've had it since 2013, and I have spent pretty much all of my career in real estate through that time in property management. I am a partner at Kimball Property Management. We only service Tarrant and Parker County. And I just really want to be more of a resource to the group. And as I had explained to Tim, that I, eventually would like to buy and hold and generate my own portfolio. Yeah, I just, I've got a lot of experience in property management, specifically residential. And, would love to learn from you guys and really be a part of the group.
Thank you, sir. If you would, go ahead and put all your info in the chat box then when you get a second, and everybody can enjoy that, benefit from it. Ruth Ann, you're up next.
Very good. I'm Ruth Ann Dunham with Service First Mortgage, and basically I'm a traditional lender, but I'm starting to do a lot of untraditional things that I have had to send other places lately. I do all the FHA, VA, USDA, conventional loans, cash outs, everything. But I have not been able to do raw land until recently, and I've closed several, and it's running very smoothly with our partner bank. I also have a commercial building purchase going right now with our partner bank, and those are things that I always had to refer to someone else. So I'm kind of having some fun learning the details again after not doing them for a long, long time. Tim likes what I do for your buyers or for you. I have down payment assistance also, and most lenders won't bother with that because it takes so much time and so much paperwork. And I learned to do them when I first got started. So just like falling off a log to me. The city grants have anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000 available depending on the city. And those are for the lower income people under 80% median, which is not impoverished, by the way. I can send anyone a list of what they can make and still get those grants. Depends on the number in the household, but it's 40 some for one. And that's not bad money for one person. And also, if they make too much for that, I have state money that I can get for folks that make more money. Or if they want to keep, or if you want to keep your present house and buy another one, keep the one you've got for your first rental, buy a new one for you. I can even use the state money for you if you want. So again, a traditional lender in many senses, but if you have something unusual, I'd like to have a look at it also. Thank you.
Ruth Ann's been with us a very long time as a sponsor of the group, and she's helped a lot of members. So you owe it to yourself to get on the phone or go have lunch now that things are opening back up again. Do something that's agreeable to both of you and find out just how Ruth Ann can help you with your business, whatever it is you're doing. So please reach out to her and let her try and help you. Thank you, Ruth Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kevin, you're up next.
All right. I hope you can hear me, Tim.
Yes.
All right, great. So yeah, these lunchtime meetings work out well for me. I work for IBM as an IT engineer for a Raytheon account. and I do real estate as well as much as I can anyways. So currently I have three rentals. Just sold a place in Abilene, and I really doubled my money on that because I bought it in 2019 and
Oh,
sold
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Good.
last month. So I doubled that money. So what I'm looking at now is trying to find a duplex here in Tarrant County, or at least in this area where I can drive to. I end up doing a lot of my own work. The smaller things. Which is fine. But specifically, I like the duplex because I'm looking to scale right now, duplex, and then later on, possibly larger is what I plan on doing. So if anybody's got any leads on the duplex around here, I'd be interested in seeing what you've got.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's about it. I just want to keep pursuing this, within the next 10 years.
Well, you'll never reach your goals and dreams if you stop pursuing it. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to put a little bit of effort into it. Maybe today it takes a little bit more effort than it has in the past, but it is a little bit harder to find those deals, but they are still out there. You just have to keep looking. And one thing for sure, if you're not in the game's not coming to you. I mean, you've got to be in the game, meaning out there pursuing it, in the hunt, looking, marketing, and so forth. Are you doing any marketing at all now, Kevin?
Not so much. I need to get into that really.
Yep. And that's probably a topic that I'm probably going to put on the schedule. It's probably about time, is marketing to generate leads, and it's probably super important today, because of the market being a little bit more difficult. It's a seller's market out there. Everybody knows that. So it's a little bit harder to find those leads. And I mean, you can buy houses all day long if you're willing to pay too much for them. And most people on these calls aren't willing to do that. Most of us still want that deal, right? So
Well, that's what takes so much time, in trying to find it. But I'd be interested in more of what you and this group has to say about lead generations, things like that.
okay.
And
Cool.
any kind of marketing, that you've got, Tim. And
Okay.
I learn a lot by going to all of these and listening to everybody and what everybody else is doing. Just try to stay current and, with market conditions and all that.
You're doing the right thing. So, okay, Kevin, well, welcome to the call today. Go ahead and drop you all your contact info and what you're looking for and everything in the chat box so that everybody has that. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
Jonathan, are you done with your lunch there, Jonathan, and ready to tell us who you are? And there you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. Finish that off. So I'm Jonathan Wagey. Literally just been kind of hanging on to the Bigger Pockets podcast for a while now. And then finally when said, you know what, now's the time. I'm kind of getting tired of trading time for money with my IT job. So dabbled in a few other industries of just trying different things and finally figured out if I can get the capital, real estate's where I need to be. And so my wife and I are literally in the process of selling our first house, and we're actually moving to something, we're downsizing, and we're going to make a good ton of money on it because we bought it back in 2019 as well. So we're set to make a good chunk to be able to then put towards something. So I'm just starting to network and connect and really see, okay, networking's done me well in the past. That's why I have the job I do today. And so I'm just trying to start connecting with people in that industry so I know what's available, what's out there. I know there's this whole kind of, I don't want to say black market, but you don't see it on the consumer side. You got to know people. So figured I'd start here and just start connecting. So
Cool. So where are you located?
I'm in the Fort Worth area. So I'm off of Berry Street and 35 is where our house is.
Okay, cool.
Sir.
Networking is a big deal, big part of this business if you really want to accelerate. Yes, you can go out and be a one-man show and do everything yourself and hunt for them yourself and rehab them yourself and sell them yourself. But, if you're networking, you're going to have a lot more activity, more chances of deals coming to you, more chances of meeting the right contractors, the right lenders. the right people that can help you sell deals and so forth, and help you with the knowledge and help you through the deals when you need it. So how did you find this group? Do you remember?
So I was on Bigger Pockets and I kind of just I saw some posts go up. I'm like, okay, let me just do a Google search, find it, and then found y'all's website and just, saw this was happening and saw y'all were doing stuff August 7th. So I'm like, well, it's on my calendar now.
Cool. So I appreciate that. I always like to know what kind of marketing is working.
Sure.
So this call again is a little smaller than most of the other calls because people are getting zoomed out, right? People are ready to get back to physical meetings, and I hope that the 7 August is going to be a great event. So Bigger Pockets, a lot of people spend time on there. A lot of people learn a lot of things. You just have to be careful on what you're learning and make sure that what's being taught is applicable in Texas.
Exactly.
And that's where a local REIA group like this comes into play, because we're right there in your same market. I'm in Weatherford. We have people from out of state. We have people in Houston, Abilene in the group too, but we have people from other states that participate in the calls. But I always try and make sure everybody is aware that be sure you check with your local REIA groups or your local real estate attorney to know that the stuff that we're teaching here is applicable in your state. So I heard you mention you need money, you want to buy houses, you think you need money, but in reality, there are strategies out there you can buy houses without money. Okay. And I'm a big fan of that strategy. I grew up on that strategy, and a lot of people start wholesaling houses as a way of making money without needing money up front. But you can also use the buying houses subject to strategy, where you're taking over mortgages and stuff that are going to allow you to do the same thing as long as you learn how to do it correctly. Since we started with that, I want to show you something real quick that I pulled up today. I've seen this article twice now, so I wanted to show you, if I can get back to my desktop. Give me just 1 second here, please. Why am I having trouble with this? Sorry about the delay here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is, well, so I have lost my document. Okay, can you see this document?
Yes, we can see it.
So I've seen this article pop up twice now. This one happens to be from a site called marketwatch.com, but it's talking about
Hang on, Tim. We're seeing your desktop folders.
I was going to say, yeah, we see your finder.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, let's try this again. Thanks for that. How's that?
It's trying. There you go.
Yep.
Okay. So I've seen this article twice now, and it's talking about metroplexes and areas that are likely to experience a very high foreclosure rate when they lift the foreclosure moratorium the end of this month. Okay. Notice that it's music to my ears when I see that Dallas, the Dallas Plano Irving area is on this list as number 4. And Fort Worth is down here, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fort Worth, Arlington, Grapevine is number 9 as being a very high delinquency rate. You know, the first category is percentage of loans in delinquency. Fort Worth is 15.7%. Percent of loans in serious delinquency is 11%, and percent of loans backed by FHA is 18.3%. And what that means to me is that we, as I've been thinking, and so have many others, that when the moratorium is lifted, unless these lenders, unless these homeowners have some other plan up their sleeve, we're going to start seeing a lot of foreclosure notices being posted, and the lenders are going to start going after these folks and filing foreclosures. Now, this doesn't mean anything as far as how quickly we might see that activity. These folks, if they know how to play the legal system, and I guarantee a lot of them do, a lot of these folks are going to go file bankruptcy. And, you know, that's going to stop that foreclosure from going forward. A lot of these people, not only do they have the foreclosure looming over their heads, they also have forbearance agreements. Many of these, and this don't talk about it, but the forbearance agreements that many people signed up for are coming due. I think it's the end of September. Ruth Ann, do you know what that date is? Does that sound right? September?
You know, I've been so busy, I have not even checked on that. I'll check.
I think I heard 30 September. Again, I should have gone and Googled it because I'm sure it's out there. But, you know, that just, those two things, the foreclosures coming due, and the lender's going to start sending these notices out. And then the forbearance agreements, the combination of those, you're going to start seeing, or you should start seeing, put it that way, you should start seeing a lot of sellers pulling their head out of the sand, because that's where it's been for the last many months, pulling their head out of the sand and start looking for help to prevent the foreclosure. And that's where we come in. This is why I've been teaching this strategy for the last year and talking about this, because we knew this was coming. And, you know, I've taught the Subject 2 courses a couple of times. It's available for purchase on my group website, but I may do another one too. But this is the day we've been waiting for. These people need help, and that's what we can do, is help them. Okay. Every one of these are going to be different. It's not going to be like the 2007-8 time frame when the market crashed, because a lot of these folks have equity in their homes. A lot of these areas, you know, the appreciation rates are high. What typically happens though with somebody that is not paying their mortgage and they're out of work, what's happening to the house? It's going downhill, right? The house is not being maintained properly. And, you know, even though the neighborhood may still be appreciating, some of these homes that are going to be in default are going to have repairs and updates that need to be done, because the owners maybe are still unemployed from COVID. They're not making the mortgage payment. Maybe they're going through a divorce now too. Maybe it's related to COVID, maybe it's not. But the bottom line is, in my experience, when I go look at a house that's behind quite a ways in mortgage payments, so is the house. They haven't been keeping up on the payment, the maintenance of the house. So that's going to eat up some of the equity that they thought they had in that home. Some of these people are still going to have equity though. And that's where we've got to learn creative strategies for financing to be able to bring those payments current, give that seller some money to be able to move. Even if they don't need money to move, they might need, we may owe them some money in equity. You can negotiate that sometimes with the sellers. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes they want it all, want it now. But the big focus that we should all be having on these sellers is trying to help them prevent the foreclosure going on their credit. Because that foreclosure, it's gonna, if they go to foreclosure, that's gonna be on their credit for 7 years. That's what it is still, right, Ruth Ann?
7 years for conventional, 3 years if FHA, 2 years if VA. And I just looked that up, and originally the CARES Act was supposed to end in December of 20, and it's gone through a series of 90-day extensions. And, you know, we don't know that there'll be another extension past September 30th, but you're right about September 30th.
Thank you. So most people do not want a foreclosure on their credit, period, whether it's 2 years or 7. And that's why I always like to, you know, when I first sit down with a seller, try and find out what their priority is. Is their priority trying to squeeze every penny out of the house before they move? Or is their priority trying to protect their credit from getting any worse than what it already is? And using the subject to strategy, as soon as you buy it and take over that mortgage and you pay those arrearages and start making those mortgage payments on time again, their credit score is starting to go back up. So it's one thing they no longer have to worry about if they sell that house to us and we start making the payments. They don't have to worry about paying that debt because it is being paid on time, and it starts improving their credit score again. So something to think about. There's a lot of details behind what we just said, of course, but I wanted to show this article because I thought it was very telling about what we might see here soon when they do lift the moratorium. I have a short sale in work right now, and I'm using a service called the Short Sale Queen. I don't know if you've heard about her, but she's local here, and they are the experts in doing short sales. They are working on one for me, and what they told me yesterday, just in talking generally, they are starting to see the foreclosure notice filings going up on the short sales that they're working on. A lot of, like the one I just gave them, does not have a filing yet, even though they are, October will be 2 years behind on payments. I'm sorry, October will be 12 months behind. They are about 17,000 behind right now. And the house has been vandalized. It's empty. They moved out. It's been vandalized and it needs a lot of repairs. And surprisingly to me, I'm having a very difficult time getting rehab contractors in there to give me estimates on it. I did finally get 2 appointments set for Friday, but you know, until I see them standing tall on the front porch or in the driveway, I don't know. I had a tough time getting these 2 appointments. People don't want to return calls, which is amazing to me. Here I am trying to give them money to do a big job and they don't return calls. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So any questions on this at all?
Is Jason not available anymore?
No, ma'am. So we had a rehab contractor called Rehab Kings. They were a sponsor of our group. They were doing my rehabs for almost 4 years. And in the middle of my last rehab, Ruth Ann, the troops quit on Jason. And I found out by accident they'd already been through some tough times between them, and anyhow, they got them back over there to be able to fix it, finish it up. That was painful, taking a lot longer than it should have. There was something going on there. And the last time I talked to Jason, he was not going to start over. So I am in the hunt for new rehab contractors. I've got, like I said, I've got 2 set up for this house I'm trying to get estimates on. I plan to talk to them and I plan to use them to see how they do. But I need, remodel type contractors for pretty much everything in a house.
Well, talking about forbearance, I've had people try to buy a bigger house while they're in forbearance in the house they're in. And this one specific family, the most recent one, their realtor ended up convincing them to sell the one they were in forbearance in, get their equity out, after paying those back payments and everything, they still had 40-some thousand. So now they are in a rental and holding on to hopefully that 40,000 to be able to qualify soon for something else. But another way that we're not realizing these forbearances are affecting us is one customer wanted to do a refi, but he and his wife did a quickie, just go to the courthouse and sign something, divorce. And he did not get out from under the liability for the house he gave her. So she's in forbearance. So he, in order to refinance his house, is going to have to go back, catch up her forbearance of 14,000 on that house before I can refinance his.
A lot of times people don't think this stuff through on what they're trying to accomplish. How bad is forbearance affecting credit, Ruth Ann? Do you know?
Well, it isn't right now, but it's obvious on the credit report to everybody that pulls it. It shows 0 for payment. Doesn't even show what the payment's supposed to be. It just shows 0 due, basically. And so that affects them hopefully in everything. And I say hopefully, because you don't go out and buy something new when you're in forbearance on your house in my day.
Right.
But a lot of people are trying to do that, and it's really not affecting them at all. And so they think no big deal, but it depends on whether they've negotiated a second lien. Sometimes some banks are giving them a second lien for that amount when they're ready to get back in payment, and no interest on it. Well, they're going to have to pay, they're going to have to sell the house eventually to be able to get rid of that. Even if it's no interest, it's still there.
Yep.
So some people are just adding it to the end of the note, but you know what that does to you.
Right. And, I've had people in pre-foreclosure, meaning they're behind at least one payment. But I've had people, I go look at the house to possibly buy it. And they actually sit there and tell me, yeah, we're saving all of our mortgage payments because we know that eventually we're going to have to move and we want to buy something with owner finance. So they know that they're damaging their credit. They know that they're going to have to move. They're just milking the system for every penny they can get until the day comes when they get the notice that constable's coming and they have to move. The other thing that people aren't thinking real clearly about, I think, is that in today's market, what's happening to the housing prices? They're skyrocketing. They're going through the roof. So they might have been in something that was pretty reasonable today to buy, but anything that they might want in the future, the prices are going up and up. So are they ever going to be able to, the folks you just mentioned, they're in an apartment now, hopefully saving their 40,000, but are they? And in the meantime, housing prices keep going up and up and up. So will they ever get out of that apartment into something they can afford again? I don't know.
Yeah, I've got them on my plan for credit repair. I don't send them out to a company if they're not too bad. I help them myself. But it's going to be 2 or 3 months before they'll be able to qualify for their next home.
We thought about selling our house and taking the equity, but then we got to find something else, and it's going to be, either we got to buy a fixer upper and start all over again, or, the prices are going to be through the roof,
My parents, they own a house in New Braunfels, and so they've owned it 12, 13 years now. And so the house literally next door. That was the situation they ran in. They were all excited to sell, made all this money. There's nothing. They had to move to a rental because there was nothing available for them to buy with the money they had.
Yep.
It wasn't even enough to get, I don't think it wasn't even enough to get past their 20% they needed. So it was rough.
Yeah. Even rental rates are going up through the
Oh,
roof.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
John, do you know what you've seen for rental increases in the last 12, 18 months?
It's been, I've seen anywhere from 15 to 30% increase within the year. Yeah. So, what a house that would lease for, this is an example, a year and a half ago would go for 1,400. That same house is going for about 1,700 now. So, I've also, in my experience, I've brought on a couple of new owners recently that were long-term self-managing landlords. And I have, they were totally dumbfounded by that increase. And since then I've run comps on them, onboarded them, and renewed those tenants because I told him, I said, man, a couple things he he established relationships with these tenants over a long period, and just didn't want to raise the rents on them. And now taxes have caught up with them. And it was like, man, you're literally paying to have these people living here. Do you want to keep doing that? Surely you've got a plan for your life.
Right.
And so anyway.
Yep. Cool. Okay. Any other comments or questions on what we just been talking about? I think there's a huge opportunity coming at us. And the question for you is, will you be ready to go and be able to accommodate those kind of people? I mean, there's a lot to this whole entire strategy of taking over mortgages, doing it properly, doing it safely, ethically, and making sure you're protecting the sellers, as well as you as a buyer. But just, if you need any help with that, reach out to me. Be happy to point you in the right direction there. So let's open it up to questions. I mean, that's what this Lunch and Learn is intended to be, is building relationships and, answering questions. There's never any real topic for this event because I want it to be just whatever's on your mind. And so I'm just going to turn it over to you. And who's got the first question?
What do you think the lag time is for these foreclosures? I mean, none of us have a crystal ball, but just what do you think on that? Anybody?
Well, I think that if they do, in fact, lift the foreclosure moratorium, that the lenders, there's a lot of factors, got a forbearance agreement, when is that due, things like that. But as soon as they lift this moratorium, the lenders are going to start filing the foreclosure paperwork with their attorneys. If that house is eligible, it meets the foreclosure criteria, they're going to start going after it. I mean, how many months have they not been receiving payments? Each lender is going to be different. The little private lending institutions versus the Wells Fargos and, the big ones, they're all going to have a different policy, but I think they're going to start going after them right away because they've been losing money for a very long period of time.
Well, I know this from a family member that I did a short sale for her. This was 5-6 years ago. They had filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So I think it was 4 years from the last mortgage payment made to when they actually vacated the home. You talk about big time in the rears. You get in some of those situations, they're too far gone. You can't do anything to help them. So I know it definitely gets compounded with that filing of the bankruptcy. And I guess that's certainly going to be a big metric to kind of tying into Kevin's question.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, there's some people that know how to play the legal system and
Yeah.
will play the legal system.
Mhm.
I have actually saw one seller that hasn't paid a payment in 10 years.
Wow.
And, that was severe, but they did it. Their attorney, they had the right attorney that could do it, and they played it. But that person will never recover. And I don't think they have any intentions of recovering. But, there's a lot of people, for those of you that don't know it, in most cases, the only person that benefits in a bankruptcy filing is the attorney.
Mhm.
For most homeowners, and I don't know if anybody knows this percentage, but a high percentage of bankruptcies fail. And that means that, the lender isn't benefiting, the owner isn't benefiting. The only one that benefits is that attorney, because he will get paid. And it's sad that so many people think that's the answer, but it's not. All it does is give them temporary relief from the foreclosure for most people. So,
Well, and that's why they started short sales, because even the mortgage companies realized that's the only person who was benefiting. They'd rather take the hit on their payoff now than pay the money to the attorneys. It was the equivalent.
and get it closed out. They take the hit, they get it off their records, and it affects their stock ratings and stuff some way, but they're done with it and they move on. And the lenders, again, for those of you that are new here, the lenders are not in the real estate business. They're in the lending business. And if they have to take you to foreclosure and they do take the house back, they now become involved in the real estate business, and that's not what they want to do. It costs them money. It's a risk for them, because, if that house is in their possession, there's storm damage, they got to have insurance. If there's a pool, there's a huge liability for that bank if they own that property. Kids climb the fence, get in the pool and drowned. There's all kinds of risk involved in owning that property as the bank. So same thing if you are the owner of a house, an investment property with a pool, it's a huge risk if there's a pool there. So it's a very high risk, and you're right, Ruth Ann, they just soon take the hit on the short sale, be done with it, and move on. So bankruptcy is not a good thing, and that's how another part of your presentation to the sellers about, why doing what you're proposing, buying that house from them, whether you buy it subject to or owner finance or cash or whatever, but you buying it is a good solution for them. So that bankruptcy is just not a good thing for most people.
You know why I think some people do that? They don't want to admit to their neighbors that they're in trouble.
I'm sure that there are many like that.
And very few Chapter 13s ever pay out. They quit paying, then they are dismissed. It still is on your credit, but it doesn't count as a completed bankruptcy. And as I mentioned before, if they'll just sell to you or even take out bankruptcy and wipe it all out, whatever it takes, the bankruptcy is less time before you can buy again. Like as an example, 3 years to get another FHA loan after foreclosure. Well, it's only 2 years after bankruptcy. So.
And the other thing is, if, again, going back to your comment about people are embarrassed, they don't want to let the neighbors know. That's another reason for them to sell to you instead of waiting until the bank forecloses, is because if they sell it to you, they're leaving on their terms within reason. I mean, you're going to coordinate the move out date and stuff with them, but at least they're moving on their terms instead of seeing the constable pull up to the front of the house and knock on the door and put a note on the door, and then everybody knows what your problems are. I mean, that a lot of
Especially with Ring doorbell, right? All your neighbors know.
That's right.
I wasn't aware of those specific timeframes with, with FHA and conventional, but when you really think about it, I'd say the mass majority of home buyers within at least the past 8 months have been conventional loans. I mean, in this market, FHA loans have almost been taken a blind eye to because they're just not, they don't get you to the closing table near as easy as the conventional. So, when you really put all this together, it is kind of the creation of an investor wholesale storm coming. Absolutely.
Yep. So, and the thing is, you just have to learn how to deal with it when that phone call comes, when that seller comes and said, I've got a house for sale. I'm behind. I need help. I need to do it quick. And trust me, there's not many that will plan ahead, meaning they don't miss one payment and they call you and say, I'm in trouble, I need help. They wait till they are a week before foreclosing, before the foreclosure date. And then they want you to jump through hoops and perform magic and bend over backwards and all that stuff in a matter of a couple of days. And that makes it very hard at that point. I've done it, but trust me, I don't like doing what that last minute thing, because there's a lot of risk with it and a lot of stress.
Yeah. No, it is true. I had a great friend of mine. I tried to do a short sale for him. He was going through a divorce several years ago and had a beautiful property, and Wells Fargo led me astray, man. Kept telling me, oh, we're gonna let you short sell it, and we're gonna let you no. And I mean, and I had actually found a qualified buyer and was going to work an intermediary close between buyer seller through a short sale with Wells Fargo's participation. And the day that I sit down with these guys and had the paperwork signed, they said, no, we're foreclosing next week. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah. Okay. Who else got a question? Anybody? We still got some time here if you got any other questions on anything.
I think my main question is what books and materials y'all would suggest that would be good to start? I know there's a lot out there and everybody's kind of got their own, so I'm hearing a specific kind of portion of the market you're talking about, Tim. So is there anything specific that you point to that you've gleaned knowledge from that's helped you? Because I know it helps me if I can read and kind of see, okay, what is the big picture? You mentioned doing things properly. Is there a good material I can look at and focus on to learn more about it? Because I'm slowly realizing, just like in IT, there is all sorts of levels of IT. It's the same thing in here. So, I'd love to learn more on that.
Okay. So, let me share.
You had some resources you were not having room for and having to sell, didn't you, Tim?
Yes.
You have any of that left?
I do. Can you see the web page now?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the one thing I would tell you is that, one of the biggest benefits that you have of becoming a VIP member, meaning a paid member, not just a free member, is that you have access to the members area 24/7. And in that members area, we have tons of resources for you. And the biggest one I'm going to show you here is, let me get some of my other screens out of the way. So you get a free website to start with. So everybody has an investor website, but the big benefit to you is you have a My Download section that gives you the forms, the disclosures. Here's a free report that I did many years ago, and I updated about once a year on 89 ways to find wholesale deals. but I have all this stuff in here to help especially new folks in the business. Here's a audio on the buying houses subject to process. That's available to everybody that's a member in the group. And there's one on advanced wholesaling procedures. Again, this is available to all members to go download and listen to. Then you come over here to the past meeting files. We maintain 6 months worth of the past events, past training that we've done. And you can see every month that's in here, and you see that there's audio, video, and documents associated with that presentation. So all this training, all these different topics are in here. And over here, it'll tell you how many days it's still remaining. If you come back further and see something, like let's say you wanted to learn about any of these, see you at the courthouse steps, tools of the trade, notice over here it says content's no longer available. You can call the office. We'll extend it for 24 hours so you can go download it and play it and watch it and so forth. But that's one of the biggest benefits to you, Jonathan, is having access to all this educational material for 6 months. And then what Ruth Ann was speaking about is over here under resources and educational material. I have years and years, and this is just, I'm not posting it in here because it changes, but I have years and years worth of educational material, well over $100,000 worth of courses on all parts of this business that I don't need anymore. So I'm willing to sell that for pennies on the dollar. If you're interested in that, get me an email address, put it in your chat, in the chat, and tell me that you'd like a copy of it, and I'll send you the Excel spreadsheet so that you can see what all's in there, Jonathan, and then you can just pick and choose. But I'll sell it dirt cheap. It's not doing me any good. I have a whole wall of it in my office, and you're welcome to come to Weatherford and look at it and see what you would like. I mean, I've got, DVDs, workbooks, paper courses along with DVDs and CDs. I've got a ton of forms. I mean, I've got pretty much anything you can imagine related to buying, selling houses, and some private money and notes type stuff. I got a little bit of commercial property stuff, but not an awful lot. So it's not doing me any good. I need to really, thanks for reminding me, Ruth Ann. Michelle and I were just talking about this. I need to have as John Zarella called it, a investor garage sale. And just all this stuff that I'm not using anymore, I've just got tons of it that's, I'd rather somebody benefit from it. So. But so let me say this also, Jonathan, is that I would recommend that think about where you're most comfortable. You said you've been watching podcasts for a while, Bigger Pockets. So you probably have some idea of where you're interested at and where you might be the most comfortable. But for most people, it's wholesaling. Some people it's subject to, but that's a more in-depth process. Wholesaling is usually a pretty easy strategy to learn and understand and implement. So, pick something that's, of interest and you think could be done easiest for you based on your time and circumstance, and then just focus on that. I don't recommend, and I see a lot of people do this. I did this because I didn't have a mentor or anybody to tell me otherwise, but I came in guns a-blaring. I was still working 50, 60 hours a week at my job. And I just started doing everything. I was buying, I'd go to all these seminars. I was paying for those. I'd see something of interest there and I'd buy that. And then I'd see something else at the next seminar and I'd buy that. Next thing you know, I got all these sticks in the air and not becoming an expert on any of them. So you need to pick an area, figure out what you're most interested in. I do offer mentoring as well, and we can talk about that offline if that's something that's of interest to you. And you need to pick that area and just go become the master. Focus on that, become the master, and then implement the next thing. And it's like the 89 ways to find wholesale deals. People look at that list and say, wow, that's a lot of stuff, and it gets overwhelming. Well, you've all heard this saying, how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time, right? And that's what you have to do with this business, is that go bite off 1, 2, 3 things, implement them all, master them, and then go add something else. Add another tool to your tool belt as time permits and you become efficient at the other ones. What you don't want to do is have all these things happening and you're not the expert on any of them and none of them is really working the way you want it.
Yep, understand. Cool.
Does that help?
Yeah, that's definitely very helpful and a good place to start for me. I've definitely tossed around some ideas as I've listened, and wholesaling is one of them. But from what I understand, wholesaling, you really had to have the network part in place, and really you had to have the relationship. So I'm like, well, I have to start somewhere. And we're talking this is like a week, 2 weeks old, of where I actually taken some action instead of just, these are rich people talking, I probably should listen to them. Actually seeking y'all out, looking at other materials, starting to just kind of see who else I'm connected with now that's already doing some type of investment. And I'm surprised how many people have some sort of hand in the market because they, I guess they see the writing on the wall.
The one thing to remember too is that even though you might be brand new, if you join the group and you said, I'm going to go do this, and you started today and you started working on wholesaling, the networking is important. But remember, you also have, by joining the group, you also have an instant network that you're becoming a member of. So you have the resources. We have, when you become a member, your website populates our website. So if you had a property under contract, your property shows up on our group page so we can help you. If you become a member, you now have access to the members directory. So you've got all these people that you now can communicate with and market your deals to. And we have a lot of people in the group that that attend these calls, and you can do your deals on these calls as well. So you have a lot of ways to move your deals. Your network explodes pretty quick when you become a member of the group. Okay. The membership, is really quite reasonable. I mean, it's only $150 a year.
Yes, it is.
And that equates to $12.50 a month if you broke it down that way, or you could do it $18 a month. It's just better to do it annually because it saves you money and you're committed for a year to utilizing all the tools and stuff that you have. So I picked the wrong month here.
Does that website included with that fee, or are there
Yes.
additional fees on top of that?
No, it's included in that $150.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a sweet deal just in itself.
It is.
More than that just for the website. The other thing that is included is that you get 6 months of the Real Estate IQ tool set called the Deal Analysis Suite, which includes your comps. So you will have comps, MLS comps for you for the first 6 months that you're a member. I mean, that's important to you. We try and give you the best tools to make you successful in this business. So you've got deal analysis tools, repair estimation, and comps tools available to you. Here's the 7 August event. I just wanted to point that out to you. And for those of you who are new, you can either click on the register button right here on the right, or you can just go clear to the bottom because it's going to take you down there anyhow. I've already registered, so you won't see it here on the bottom, but and then it gives you the event, the location and everything there. So And if you have not been to our main monthly meeting, which is the first Saturday of every month, that first event's free. So you get to go to that for free. These weekday events are free. There is one members only event that we hold, and it's a mastermind meeting for members only. Back here on the calendar, you'll see each month right here, this mastermind meeting. That is a members only event. So, and then here's the event that we're in now. And then we occasionally add some other things. I mean, we do quite a few things with Anderson Advisors on entity structuring, proper entity structuring. Equity Trust IRA talks about self-directed IRAs. So you can buy and sell houses in your IRA, which a lot of people don't know about. Very, very powerful strategies. I think you've been listening on some of those, haven't you, Ruth Ann?
Yes,
Yeah.
very good stuff.
Very powerful stuff. I've had my self-directed IRAs for quite a few years and done quite a few deals through them. And you can also lend money through those self-directed IRAs, so it's tax-free.
Wow.
So it's a very powerful strategy. And if you go ask your financial advisor, many of them won't even know about it. So, okay, do we have any other questions? The other thing I will point out to everybody is this resources tab right here. You know, you've got a bunch of different real estate blogs. I need to post again in there, but and we can set up members to post too if they're interested in doing that. And then we have all the sponsors information. We are looking for new sponsors, folks that have businesses or services that support investors, but you'll see all the sponsors in here. We do a little video interview with them all to talk about how they can help members of the group. If you're looking for any support of any kind, you can come in here and see if we have it before you go elsewhere. These are people you can trust. There's Ruth Ann's information right there. And you know, you can reach out to her. There's all her contact information. And it's there, the contact info is there for all of our companies here that we have. And these are all people that you can trust. They've been with us a long time. So, but anyhow, that resources button there has got a lot of content for you, a lot of local resources. And, you know, this is stuff that we've learned over the years. A lot of these sites are sites that I use in my business. And I just want to provide that stuff to you to help you in your business as well. So. Anybody have anything else?
No, I'm actually, I'm going through the site now. There's a lot here. And 150 bucks is, yeah, there's a lot of value here, man. I've spent way more than $150 on a class before in real estate. So to do a year's worth of membership for that, it's a great deal.
I mean, it's pennies on the dollar. You spend more than that in Starbucks a month.
True.
It's true.
Or McDonald's. So, but you know, you get so much for the money and you have access to all the training and stuff. And, you know, one of the reasons that I set this up was a lot of the members were saying they couldn't come to the Saturday morning meeting because kids had baseball or they had to work or something. So now, and I didn't, you know, when we used Meetup, we didn't have any way to save the recordings and share it and all the presentations and stuff. Now we can do all that very easily in the group. It's all organized. It's a very powerful system and provides a lot of content. If you really spend time in there, once you get inside, I just showed you a little piece of it. There's a lot to it.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate that.
So
Be checking it out for sure. So,
okay.
all right.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna let you go. I got an interview coming up here with someone, hopefully for a admin assistant. I'm been without a few weeks, and it's amazing to me how many people submit an application for a position and then don't want to answer the phone or don't show up for the appointment. I just don't get it. Other than they're probably just submit to keep in compliance with their unemployment requirements to be applying for jobs, but yeah, I don't get it.
Who knows?
They're interested and then don't show up.
Well, if I know some people that are local and that are honest. If you're interested, or if you come up where you need some more bids, shoot me a message. I'll send you their contact info.
Okay. Cool. All right. Anybody have anything else?
That was a great first meeting. I'm going to register for next month. I'm looking forward to meeting some people in person.
Cool.
Same.
Me too. And you'll just watch your email because it'll give you the details if there's any kind of changes along the way and stuff. But I look forward to meeting y'all, and hopefully you can come on the 7th. And if there's nothing else, I'm going to sign off and hope you have a good week. Stay safe out there. Go buy a house.
Another good meeting. Thanks, Tim.
All
You're
right,
welcome.
thanks, guys.
If you need help with the house, I also do joint ventures as well. So just call if you have something that you need help with walking through. So,
Okay.
all right.
Awesome.
Take care.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice to meet you all.